Hi, everybody. Captain Lou here with another 12-ounce sports update on this Monday, November the 18th, 2024. How's everybody doing? Hope you had a great weekend. I hope you had a great sports weekend. I hope your favorite team won. I hope your favorite team was competitive. And again, I hope you enjoyed yourself. We got a lot to go over here as we take a look back at the scores from college football and the NFL this past weekend. Week 11 of the NFL season saw some great scores, some great games, and some blowouts. Let's take a look right through the list. Starting on Sunday, let's go to the NFC North, and it was the Detroit Lions. 645 yards of total offense. They took care of the Jacksonville Jaguars in the first quarter. 52-6 was the final score. 8 possessions, 8 scores for the Lions. First time they've done that since the merger. So Lions win 52-6 over the Jaguars. Staying in the NFC North, how about the Packers and the Bears? The Bears don't have the rabbit's foot in their back pocket this year, that's for sure. Succumbing to that Hail Mary pass against the Washington Commanders. And then yesterday, with the ball with seconds remaining, they were attempting a 46-yard field goal against the Green Bay Packers. And alas, it got blocked. The Bears lose again, 20-19. The Packers are now 7-3, 4-1 away, while the Bears fall to 4-6. The Packers 2 games behind the top team, and now all of the NFL, the Detroit Lions at 9-1. Elsewhere in the NFC North, it was the Minnesota Vikings. They won again over the Tennessee Titans. They won on the road 23-13. The Vikings are 8-2 in the division. The Titans fall to 2-8. The Vikings are 1 game behind the Lions. So in the NFC North, you've got the Lions at 9-1, the Vikings at 8-2, the Packers at 7-3, and the Bears at 4-6. By far the most dominant division in not only in the NFC, but all of professional football. Elsewhere, the Dolphins got a big win yesterday against the Las Vegas Raiders at home, 34-19. They keep their faint playoff hopes alive. Their record now stands at 4-6, while the Raiders fall to 2-8. In the NFC or in the AFC East as well, the New York Jets fall again to the Indianapolis Colts by the score of 28-27. Big win for Anthony Richardson at the helm at quarterback for the Colts. They go to 5-6. They keep their faint playoff hopes alive as well. Staying in the AFC North, or let's switch to the AFC North rather. How about the Ravens and the Steelers in a battle of the top 2 teams in that division? It was the Steelers. They win again, 18-16 over the Baltimore Ravens. The Steelers now are at 8-2. While the Ravens fall to 7-4. Back to the AFC West, the Broncos, they took care of the Falcons in a crossover game between the conferences, 38-6. The Broncos could be the surprise team right now in the NFL. Their record is at 6-5. They're sticking in pretty good position for a potential playoff spot. In the AFC West as well, how about the Kansas City Chiefs? They were 9-0 going to this one, traveling to Buffalo to take on the 8-2 Buffalo Bills. But in the end, Buffalo clinched it on a 22-yard touchdown run by Josh Allen. They win this one 30-21. So the 72 Miami Dolphins, they can rest easy as they again now are the last undefeated team in all of professional football since 1972 as Kansas City fell 30-21. Buffalo Bills with a record of 9-2. The Chiefs are at 9-1. In some other games, the Los Angeles Rams in a crossover game went out to Foxborough to take on the Patriots. The Rams needed this one in the worst way, and they got it. 28-22, a big win for the LA Rams. They're at 5-5, staying a game behind the Arizona Cardinals, who are 6-4 in the NFC West. They are still atop that division. The 49ers and the Seahawks. This was a big game at I call it Candlestick Park in San Francisco, as the Seahawks looking to try to end a 2-game skid and the 49ers trying to round into shape. 49ers had what seemed to be a 17-13 lead, potential victory, but Seattle marched all the way down the field, and Geno Smith with the game-winning touchdown with 22 seconds left. The Seahawks surprised the San Francisco 49ers by the score of 20-17. Both those teams are now 5-5. Coming up tonight, Monday Night Football, the Houston Texans looking to get back on track after letting one slip away last Sunday night against the Detroit Lions. The Texans at 6-4. The Cowboys looking to just try to do something right at home. Jake Paul has more wins at Texas Stadium or at AT&T Stadium than the Dallas Cowboys this year. They're looking for their first win at home. They're 3-6. The Texans are 6-4. The line on this one tonight shows the Houston Texans a 7-point favorite on the road against the Dallas Cowboys. The over-under on this one is at 45. All right, let's take a look at the standings now in the NFL going into tonight's matchup. In the AFC East, the Buffalo Bills now with a 4-game lead in the loss column. They're 9-2. The Dolphins are at 4-6. The Jets are at 3-8, and the New England Patriots are at 3-8. So you pretty much the NFC or the AFC North is Buffalo's. All they got to do is win probably one more game, and that division is all wrapped up. In the AFC North, the Pittsburgh Steelers are a game and a half ahead now, 2 games ahead rather, of the Baltimore Ravens in the loss column. And a very important win over the Ravens when it comes to tiebreakers. Pittsburgh at 8-2, the Ravens at 7-4. Cincinnati with a loss last night to the LA Chargers, by the way. That was a big game. The Chargers held on for that win. The Bengals now are at 4-7, while the Browns are at 2-8. In the AFC South, the Houston Texans, we mentioned, they're going into tonight's game with a 6-4 record. 2-game lead in the loss column over the Indianapolis Colts. You throw in the fact that they won both games against the Colts, so it's in a sense a 3-game lead for the Texans in the loss column, but this would be a big win for them tonight to get to 7-4 to stay 2 games ahead of the Colts. The Titans and the Jacksonville Jaguars playing for an early round draft pick next year. And finally, in the AFC West, we talked about the Chiefs losing their first game. They're at 9-1 now. They are 2 games up on the Los Angeles Chargers, 3 games up on the upstart Denver Broncos, who are at 6-5. And then the Raiders are at 2-8. The Chargers at 7-3. They've won 4 straight. As we look back at that game last night with them again, as I mentioned, they were up 27-6 at one point. Blew the lead, but they were able to hang on for a 34-27 victory over the Cincinnati Bengals. Joe Burrow threw for 356 yards and 3 touchdowns, but not enough as the Bengals fall. And their record, as we said, is at 4-7. And the Chargers are now 7-3, looking pretty good in the wild card run. And again, only 2 games behind the Kansas City Chiefs. In the NFC, in the East, the Eagles on top with an 8-2 record thanks to their Thursday night win over the Commanders, a game and a half lead over the Washington Commanders, who are at 7-4. The Cowboys going into tonight 3-6. Kiss them goodbye. And the Giants, they're going to bench Daniel Jones, Tommy DeVito. He's going to be the starting quarterback for the rest of the year. Brian Daboll, might as well polish up your resume. 2-8 as they go into week 12. The Detroit Lions in the NFC North, they're the best team in the conference, if not the whole league. 9-1. We mentioned the Minnesota Vikings right behind them at 8-2. The Green Bay Packers are right behind them at 7-3. By far the best division in all of pro football. Then you got the Bears. They're falling by the wayside now at 4-6. In the NFC South, the Atlanta Falcons 6-5. They got a game and a half lead on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The important stat in this one game up on the loss column, but they have swept the season series with the Buccaneers. So that's a huge tiebreaker for the Falcons, as it looks like only one team out of that division is going to go to the playoffs. The Saints and the Panthers with 7 losses. The Saints at 4-7, Carolina at 3-7. And finally, in the NFC West, it's the Arizona Cardinals at 6-4. The Los Angeles Rams, that was a big win. They're 5-5. The Seahawks are at 5-5, and the 49ers are at 5-5. So the teams aren't out of the wild card race in that division, but it's looking pretty slim as they jockey for that first place spot in the NFC West, as they're 2 games behind the Green Bay Packers for that final playoff spot. Actually, they're a game and a half behind the Washington Commanders for that last playoff spot. Still a lot of time left, obviously, for the playoffs, but it's looking like it could only be one team out of the NFC West going to the playoffs. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll turn our attention to the college scene, look at some of the games from Saturday, and we'll give you the rankings for football and basketball as you're watching the 12-Ounce Sports Update here on 12-Ounce Sports and our 12-Ounce Sports channel on YouTube.
Need tickets to that next event? Well, at 12-Ounce Sports, we've got them with soccer anywhere in the world. Tickets to any venue, any sport. Want to go to NCAA or NFL football matches? We've got them.
Yeah.
Baseball at every level. Every Power 5 matchup is available. Don't forget, costumes and paint are optional. What's that? You want to go to Broadway? We have those too. Want to jam out? Every concert, every artist. That's right, at 12 Ounce Sports, we've got the tickets for less. 12ozsports.com/tickets. That's 12ouncesports.com/tickets.
Welcome back, everybody, to the 12 Ounce Sports Update here on our YouTube channel, 12 Ounce Sports, and on X, 12 Ounce Sports. Follow us everywhere. You can get up to date on everything going on in the world of sports. All right, college football from week 12. Hard to believe, I know, week 12 already. Some of the big games, of course, the big one was Georgia and Tennessee. The Volunteers went down to the land of the Dogs, and the Dogs took care of the Volunteers 31-17. So now Georgia back in the mix for a college football playoff spot. We'll see tomorrow how far Tennessee falls, if they do fall. Now they're at 8-2 as well. BYU, they got upset this weekend against Kansas, so that throws a monkey wrench in the rankings there. Will they slip out of the top 12 going into tomorrow night? They lost 17-13. Elsewhere in matchups with the top teams in the area, South Carolina took on 23rd ranked Missouri. South Carolina with a 34-30 win. LSU, they're done. They got beat by Florida 27-16. They're imploding down there in the Bayou. Watch for that. Alabama with a big win, of course, against Mercer, and some of the other games. Number 1, Oregon survived Wisconsin 16-13 in Madison. Ohio State with a big win over Northwestern. Texas went to Arkansas and beat the Hogs 20-10. Penn State over hapless Purdue 49-10. And finally, Boise State over San Jose State 42-21. Southern Methodist, Texas A&M, they were winners. Arizona State toppled Kansas State 24-14. Arizona State not out of the Pac-12 or the Big 12 race just yet, as crazy as that sounds. Colorado with a big win over Utah 49-21, as they look to maybe put a stranglehold on their position in the Big 12 for a chance to get into the college football playoffs. All right, let's take a look at some of the rankings going into the college football preview show tomorrow, the rankings preview show for the playoff. AP polls got Oregon, undisputed number 1 team, all 62 first place votes. The top 5 stayed the same: Ohio State, Texas, Penn State, and Indiana. Notre Dame at 6, Alabama up to 7, Georgia 8, Ole Miss 9, Tennessee down to 10. And then rounding out the top 15 is Miami at 11, Boise at 12, Southern Methodist at 13, BYU down 7-14, Texas at number 15. And coming up, and now let's take a look real quick while we've got a few moments at the latest rankings in women's basketball. South Carolina gets all 31 first place votes, UConn 2nd, USC 3rd, Texas 4th, Notre Dame 5, or UCLA 5, Notre Dame 6, LSU 7, Iowa State 8, Kansas State 9, or Oklahoma 9 rather, Kansas State at 10. And the first team out of the Big 10, Maryland, them and Ohio State are 11 and 12, West Virginia at 13, Duke at 14, and Kentucky at 15th. And finally, on the men's side, Kansas, the number 1 team in the land with 49 first place votes, UConn 2nd, Gonzaga 3rd, Auburn 4th, Iowa State 5th, Purdue 6th, Houston 7th, Alabama 8th, Kentucky at 9, and North Carolina rounding out the top 10. And the big game coming up this weekend in college football next Saturday, obviously, is going to be number 2 Ohio State hosting number 5 Indiana. A winner gets a shot at the Big Ten championship game. All right, everybody, that's going to do it for a 12-ounce sports update. Glad you could join us on this Monday, November the 18th. Thank you very much for welcoming us into your homes via your computer, your telephone, or your television, telephone, your iPhone, whatever. That's at 12-ounce sports on our YouTube channel, which is 12-ounce sports. Until next time, Captain Lou saying keep your heads up, keep your sticks down, keep your feet moving, and as always, keep your minds open. So long, everybody.